So once again, the Packers are unable to beat one of the top tier teams in the NFL. They're now 0-5 against the Lions, losing both times. They now have lost to the Vikings both times, and they lost to the Eagles early in the season. In this game, it was honestly ugly a majority of the time until the final, 5-6 minutes where the Packers offense finally had some life, where all day long they couldn't do anything. Jordan Love was shut down. The running game didn't really ever get going like we've usually seen it get going. It was just ugly football offensively and defensively, and yet somehow the Packers almost brought themselves back in this one. A couple good defensive stops. Jordan Love went on a tear in the final 5-6 minutes. And so at least they competed till the end and got close in this one. And I think when you have a guy like Jordan Love, you never know when he could turn it on. But the same problem that happened in this game, it's plagued the Packers every other loss this year, where they start off slow. Their first halves in most of these games against these top tier teams, with 12, 13, 14 wins, these teams have gotten off to, faster starts against the Packers nearly every single Packers loss this season. And I just don't think, seeing that the Packers play this way against every really good top tier team, when it comes to the playoffs, with the Packers being a wild card team, being a road team, they're going to have to beat 3 teams on the road in the NFC, and these are going to be some of the best teams in the NFC, being, with it being the playoffs. And so if the Packers really want to be able to win 3 straight road games against top-tier talent, they have to find a way to get off to faster starts, especially offensively. Because I think the first couple drives for the Packers defense, they were honestly, maybe the first 2 drives, the Packers defense was playing pretty good football, but the Packers offense struggled early on. And I was hoping that that's what we would see from the Packers team this game, because going into it, the Packers had a chance here to prove to the world, to prove to everyone that they can compete and beat a top-tier team like the Vikings. And once again, they're unable to do that. And so it does make you a little bit nervous heading into the playoffs. I think we all know what the Packers can be, what they can do. Can they beat any team in the league? I think they can. They just haven't been able to do it so far this season. So I think there is a big reason to be hesitant about thinking that this team can go on a run in the playoffs. Does that mean they can't? No. But they haven't shown us that they can beat any of these top-tier teams. So it is a little bit of a, it's not really the way you want to leave the regular season, knowing that every single time you've played one of these teams, you can't beat them. Most of them have been close games. Once again, they lose to the Vikings by 2. And so, as I said earlier, it's good that this team has some fight in them, that they are, able to make it a game near the end. But they have to find a way to get off to fast starts. And if this team wants to have any chance at really making a playoff run and, winning multiple games in the playoffs, they can't start like this. And so I don't know what's going to make that change, because it hasn't happened in any game. And it's just when you look at this Packers offense, for entering this game, 5 straight games of 30-plus points. And they almost get to 30 in this one. But they can't start off fast. And honestly, until the final 5-6 minutes, the Vikings shut down Jordan Love. They shut down the Packers' passing attack. He was facing a lot of pressure during the game, and it really felt like when he was sitting back there in the pocket, it looked like he didn't see anyone open on the field, Jordan Love, for majority of the day, because he was sitting back there. He had a little bit of time, but by the time he was sort of sitting, reading the defense, it felt like he just didn't really have any quick answers in this game, and it led to him having to scramble a lot, the Vikings getting a lot of pressure. I'm pretty sure the Vikings only finished the game with a total of 3 sacks to end it for the Vikings. They had 1 sack pretty close near to the end of the game. But Brian Flores once again brought the heat a lot, as he has all season long. And the Packers weren't really able to handle it. And I think the Vikings secondary played a really, really good game. As I said, it felt like the Jordan Love had no answers out there a majority of the day. It wasn't until the final 2 drives where the Packers offense finally looked like, I think, what we've seen from this offense for the past 4 or 5 games. And, with the Vikings being a top-tier defense, we knew it would be a tough task here. But I really thought the Packers would play much more evenly majority of this game. The Packers did. The fourth quarter, they outscored the Vikings 15-0. It was just too little too late, and that's really been the case in every single game this season when they've lost. against these top tier teams. It's been too little, too late. So that's a big problem. And now if we look at this Packers defense, Sam Darnold had a career day, which is not something you want to hear for any player, any quarterback to have a career day against you. He finished the day with 377 yards, 33 of 43, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 116.1 passer rating. And a majority of the day, Sam Darnold was just picking the Packers apart, especially in the middle of the field. It really felt like, right behind the linebackers in front of the safeties, the guys were just open all day long. Sam Darnold has been one of the more accurate quarterbacks this season, playing with really great timing, and the Packers just couldn't handle this Vikings passing attack. The secondary got absolutely shredded. Unfortunately, Jair Alexander still has not returned. We also, have been without Quay Walker and Evan Williams again. I think that, all in all, looking at the Packers pass rush, they were getting some pressure early on, but Sam Darnold has been very good and was very good in this game when it came to evading the pressure, escaping the pocket, just sort of keeping things alive enough to find guys down the field. Loss of the day, though, Darnold did have a pretty clean pocket. And so the Packers, if we look at their sacks in this one, they finished with 1 sack and 4 quarterback hits. So they got some pressure, but not enough to really, mess with Sam Darnold enough back there in the pocket. And he was able to find answers all day long. And looking at that final drive for the Vikings, the Packers, got him to 3rd down. And then on that 3rd down, the running back sort of, goes out. The Packers just aren't able to, there's no one on him. So I was hoping that guy would drop that ball. Unfortunately, that was not the case. And so, looking at this Packers defense, they entered this day 6th in scoring, pretty much top 10 in rushing and passing in lots of different areas, top 10 in sacks. And, once again, against a top-tier offense, the Packers defense struggled. They struggled the 4 other games against these top-tier offenses. The Vikings last time, the 2 Lions games, the Eagles. They have struggled against some of these better offenses. They played really good against, I think, lesser talent. But, they didn't really... they had no answers for Sam Darnold today. So, thinking about the playoffs now, the Packers are in the playoffs. They have 1 more game. And the thing is, with this team, we haven't seen them beat the caliber of team, the top tier caliber team that the Packers are going to face in the playoffs. And that is worrisome. Maybe I was thinking during the game, maybe this could sort of wake them up and really make them get focused heading into playoff time. But I would say before this game, they probably were already focused and, they probably gave it their best effort today, but it just wasn't a good effort. I think they're playing hard. It just wasn't. It didn't work, whatever, it just didn't work today. I think there were also a lot of mistakes. You look at the Dontavian Wicks, I think he was like a legal formation or something. He wasn't lined up properly in the first half, I believe it was. It would have been a 1st down. It's 3rd and 5. The Packers have to punt. You look at a few other mistakes in this game, a holding penalty that brought back a Josh Jacobs rushing touchdown, a lot of other penalties. You also look at the 4th down conversion. LaFleur, the second time, decides to not go with the field goal. And it looked like it just sort of bounced off Jaden Reed's hands. It seemed like to me like he should have caught it. It was going to be somewhat of a tough catch, but he drops it there. Just a lot of little things in this game that, hurt the Packers. In the moment when Matt LaFleur decided to go for it that second time, first time he kicks a field goal, second time he decides to go for it. Just with the way that the Packers defense had played up to that point, the way the Packers offense had played, I was wanting them to kick a field goal. I'm typically okay with being aggressive, but it felt to me like, the Packers, if they could get to 6 there, it could have, shifted things and kept the Packers just sort of in a 1-score game instead of making it a 2-score game. And in the end, it was only a 3-point game. And so the announcers had brought it up about, I think it was Tom Brady talking about how looking at analytics and going for it on 4th down, sometimes you just want to take the points. And I think that in lots of these close games, against the Lions, it was a close game. Against the Vikings, the first time it was a close game. And this one, it ended up being a close game, even though it wasn't a majority of the day. Maybe the Packers need to, not be aggressive here, if it's 4th and 2, 4th and 3, when you can take a field goal, because lots of these games are coming down to 3 points. And so it's awesome if you convert the 4th down, and you probably have a better chance of winning if you convert it. But considering, how close lots of these games are, points are, 3 points would have swung the game against the Vikings last time. 3 points would have given the Packers a game. This one would have given the Packers a game. Against the Lions, it would have been tied, I'm pretty sure. And so that's a decision the Packers have to make going forward. How aggressive do you want to be? If it works, it's awesome. If it doesn't, it can be the reason you lose a game. Of course, there are a ton of little small reasons, but if you look at each one in particular, it could have swung the game, as is the case in most NFL games. So I still think this is a team that can make a playoff run. They have the talent at quarterback. We saw what Jordan Love can do. The problem is the slow starts offensively, defensively. Can they turn it around? I was hoping this would be a time to show that. Unfortunately, once again, they can't do it. So if you look at the whole season, go based off of what we've seen so far. If it happens again, then the Packers are going to struggle in the playoffs. Hopefully, they can somehow flip a switch, maybe being an underdog team where people are doubting them. Maybe that can give them that little extra boost to come in the playoffs and sort of show people that they do have the ability. But I think they are going to be doubted in a big way heading into the playoffs because they have lost to all these really good teams. And so I think you have every right to question this Packers team because they have lost to all these good teams. So I will be out with some more videos throughout the week breaking down different things. But that's all I have for today, and I'll see you guys next time.